Political commentator Mr. Jason Unruhe is joining us via Skype out of Ontario. Jason, it's good to see you. Tell me your understanding of the recent developments, in recent memory at least, so much that I can't remember a lame duck president this much struggling to, put sanctions and things like that against another country.
Well, the fact is the United States, particularly under U.S. President Donald Trump, has pursued a policy of perhaps trying to create a new JCPOA agreement. They completely just destroyed the existing one that people had spent a great deal of time in trying to build, and then all of a sudden destroyed it, started placing new pressure on Iran to try to get them to come to the negotiating table when there was already an agreement there. And I assume it's in order to change the terms. I suspect that perhaps the original agreement did not do the damage that they had hoped that it would. They had hoped to hold back Iran economically from the agreement, but it has not done the damage that they wanted, so they created a pretext for trying to force a new agreement. Now, this seizure of assets for so-called victims of state terror, which is a really ironic accusation coming from the United States, who has yet to pay compensation for downing an Iranian airliner in the 80s. Essentially, there has been a larger part, a plan to place pressure on Iran that has been taking place in the last time. As you saw earlier today, there was accusations that a pilot said over the airwaves that they were planning on carrying out a suicide attack on the U.S. Capitol in revenge for the killing of Soleimani. Before that, there was on New Year's Day, there was the accusation that the Donald Trump had to be evacuated from Mar-a-Lago over a, quote, credible threat to the president's life from Iran, all of which are baseless accusations. And this comes at a time when the U.S. has placed bombers in surrounding countries in order to, well, bombers are used to attack other countries, so that threat is very much there. There are more ships going into the region, military vessels, to place pressure on Iran. So I see this as part of a larger strategy to punish the Islamic Republic for not bowing to U.S. will. And this seizure of assets is just going along more with the economic war that has been placed on the country, sanctions which have no actual international standing that have been forced on the country.
Jason, of course, there is also the issue of the new incoming U.S. president and the administration, and without making him any saints, basically, to what extent do you think the administration under Joe Biden, bear in mind that we are in the process of vote counting, in Georgia, the Senate elections in Georgia as well. There is a chance, so far as I was looking, there is a chance that Democrats will take over that one as well, which is, well, in itself unprecedented or, very not that often seen. With all this in mind, tell me, do you really think that Joe Biden's administration will really uphold or embrace these new sanctions or try to change it? Are you hopeful?
I'm kind of hopeful that they'll return to the original JCPOA agreement in order to undermine everything that Donald Trump has done in order to try to bring about some kind of normalcy, because there's the leadership styles of both Trump and Biden couldn't be any more different. They couldn't be any more opposite to each other. So I see that a Biden administration will turn to something that's more of what we saw under the Obama administration. Still, U.S. imperialism will remain a threat. There will still be seizures of Iranian property and wealth. I mean, that's not going to change. But I do see something a lot more stable coming out of the Biden administration, something probably less radical, but I'm still hopeful for a more stable situation.
Okay. Let's hope that way. That's Mr. Jason Unruhe, political commentator out of Ontario with those comments. Jason, I really appreciate your time.